In the early 1960s, the Internet wasn't a global network of cat videos and commerce. It was a theoretical solution to a Cold War nightmare. The United States military was terrified that a single Soviet strike could wipe out their entire communications infrastructure. They needed a system that had no central hub, a web of computers that could survive even if half the nodes were destroyed. This led to ARPANET, the precursor to everything we use today. In 1969, a small team of researchers at UCLA tried to send the first message to a computer at Stanford. They tried to type the word login. They got as far as L and O before the system crashed. But those two letters were enough. The connection was proven. Information had traveled between two distant machines without a telephone operator in the middle. By the 1970s, the network was growing, but it faced a major language barrier. Different types of computers couldn't talk to each other. This is where Vint Cerf and Bob Kahn stepped in. They developed a digital handshake called TCP/IP. It was a universal set of rules that allowed any computer, regardless of its brand or operating system, to package data and send it across the network. This was the true birth of the Internet. The internetworking of separate networks into one. Even so, the Internet remained the playground of scientists, academics, and the military. It was text-based, clunky, and required specialized knowledge to navigate. That changed in 1989 at a physics lab in Switzerland called CERN. A British scientist named Tim Berners-Lee wasn't trying to change the world. He was just frustrated that he couldn't keep track of his colleagues' research. He proposed a system of hyperlinks that would allow a user to click a word and be transported to another document. He called it the World Wide Web. It's important to remember that the web and the Internet are not the same thing. The Internet is the hardware, the wires, and the protocols, the tracks. The web is the stuff we see and interact with. The trains. In the early 90s, the web went public. Browsers like Mosaic and later Netscape Navigator added images and a friendly interface to the screen. Suddenly, the average person could surf the web. This sparked the .com boom. People realized that if you could send information, you could sell products. Amazon started in a garage selling books. eBay started as a way to trade Pez dispensers. By the late 90s, the screeching sound of a dial-up modem was the soundtrack of the modern home. But the Internet of the 90s was a read-only experience. You went to a website, you read what was there, and you left. That changed around 2004 with the rise of Web 2.0. This was the era of participation. It was no longer about what companies posted. It was about what you posted. MySpace, then Facebook, and later YouTube allowed every user to become a creator. The Internet became a social town square, shifting from a collection of static pages to a living, breathing ecosystem of human interaction. Then came the smartphone. When the iPhone launched in 2007, the Internet left the desk and entered the pocket. We moved from going online to being online at every waking moment. This mobility triggered the app economy. We stopped typing URLs and started tapping icons. The Internet wasn't just a place to find information anymore. It became the layer through which we ordered food, found dates, and navigated our physical cities. By the 2010s, the Internet had reached a scale that was hard to comprehend. We moved our data into the cloud, meaning our files were no longer on our hard drives but on Massive server farms owned by giants like Google and Amazon. We saw the rise of the Internet of Things, where our light bulbs, fridges, and watches joined the network. Today, we are standing on the edge of the next great shift. We are discussing the metaverse, decentralization through blockchain, and the integration of artificial intelligence that can generate the very content we consume. We've moved from 2 letters sent between 2 rooms in California to a digital nervous system that connects 8 billion people. The history of the Internet is ultimately a history of barriers falling between machines, between countries, and between people. It started as a way to survive a war, and it ended up becoming the fundamental fabric of human civilization. Thanks for watching.